Yo, in this haircut today, we're going to be doing a nice, quick, and easy gentleman's cut. Now, my client here, he just want me to take off the loose ends off his beard and give him a nice sharp lineup, a 2 on the sides with a back taper and a little bit off the top, just enough to comb it over. I call this haircut the Super Cuts Special. So as you can see, I'm just soaking the client hair, just getting ready to do block graduation and the scissor cut on top. Next, I'm going to make my first part, starting right at his recession and going straight across. This is me separating the sides from the top and also getting ready to do my block graduation. This is also called horseshoe parting because when you are finished, your part should look like a horseshoe. So I'm just going to finish making this part going straight across. And you can see he have a calic right in the back, and most times you can go over it or you can go under it, but in this case I had to go right through the calic, and you can see it looked like a horseshoe. Now to start block graduation, you want to pull the hair out and you want to make sure your 2 fingers are skin tight to the client's scalp. If your fingers are not skin tight to the client's scalp, your block graduation is not going to work. And you want to also make sure that your cuts are very consistent. And if you are paying attention, as I'm getting to the back of the client's head, I'm starting to angle my fingers downward. The reason why I'm starting to angle down, because if I was to cut straight across, I will damage his calic area. And once everything is dried and styled, his calic is going to be spiking right up at me. So you always want to keep the back area a little heavier. And on this side, we're just going to do the same exact thing. Make sure our 2 fingers are skin tight to the client's scalp. And we're just going to run this block graduation going straight back to the client's head. And if you don't know what the purpose of block graduation is, I'm going to tell you right now. Some people may think you can just take your foreguard and just run it right up to start creating graduation. But the difference is when you are doing block graduation with your shears, you have a lot more control. The shape of your haircut will come out better. And if your block graduation is done right, if you have a client that come in every 2 weeks, you won't have to keep doing block graduation because it will already be there. You can just pick up your foreguard and start to fade right into it. And for these clients that love the comb over hard part, or them bulky haircut fades, or how about the clients that love a slick back look with the top blended into the sides? If you don't know how to do block graduation or don't understand it, you will have a hard time doing them haircuts. Block graduation make them haircuts much easier. Now I'm going to make a part going right down the middle and comb his hair over to each side. And the side that I want to connect is the side that the comb over is going to go. So now I have to connect the top to the sides. So I just comb the hair right over to the side, and I find that guideline that I created with my block graduation, and everything that's hanging over get cut. Now, once you get a little bit closer to the fringe area, you want to start pulling out straight to your chest because you need that a lot longer than the sides, because this is the area that's going to swoop over. If I was to cut this short, his hair is not going to be able to swoop over. So now we have to cut the hair on top. The guideline I am using is the guide when I comb the hair over to the side, connecting it to the block graduation. So when I come to the top and start to cut the hair on top, I just push the hair up, and then you're going to see my guide that I use when I comb the hair over to the side. And that's going to be the length for the top of his head. And now that I established my guideline, now that I'm going right to the middle of his head, you're going to see my guideline a lot better. And I'm just going to follow it going straight to the back, and then I'm going to do the left side of his head, and my scissor work will be complete. And if you are thinking this is a lot of work, it's really not. On average, this should take you around 5 to 7 minutes doing block graduation and doing a scissor cut on top. And since this haircut is so simple, once my scissor work is done, this haircut is basically done, because he want a 2 on the sides. And I don't mind haircut like these because I enjoy using the shears. So now we're gonna comb all the hair forward, and now we're gonna cut his fringe area. You can see I put the hair straight out towards my mirror, and you can see my guide right at the back of my fingers, and that's all the hair that I have to cut. And you can see everything is flowing, and I'm just connecting the part that combs over. I'm connecting that back into the block graduation. Next, I throw some Tune 45 clay in his hair. This is the best clay on the market, and you can see how I massage it in my client's head. I just don't want to layer it on top. I want to massage it so it can hit his scalp and everything. Then I'm going to pick up my blow dryer and my styling brush, and I'm going to blow dry and brush the direction I want the hair to style. And I'm not putting the heat directly on my client's scalp, so I'm aiming the heat right at the brush and not the hair, if that makes sense. Okay, my scissor work is done and the hair is completely dried. I pick up the foreguard and I want to run it straight up into my block graduation. I don't want to go all the way through it. I want to run it straight up, and I want to flick out right at the block graduation. Now, if I was to run it straight up through my client's hair, I'm basically getting rid of my block graduation that I created. So I just did all that work just to remove my block graduation. So you want to go up into your block graduation, and you want to flick out right when you get to it. The goal is to keep the shape and don't get rid of the shape. Then I'm going to throw on my 3-guard, and I'm going to do the same exact thing. The only difference when I'm going to do with 3-guard, I'm going a little bit lower than I just was with the 4-guard. So now I'm just going to start stacking the guards. So I'm going to stack this number 3 right under the 4-guard and just clear out all the bulk right at the bottom of the head. On this side, do the same exact thing. We're going to stack this 3 right underneath the 4. You should not take this 3 as high as you took your 4. So just keep that in mind. And this is the highest guard that I'm using on this fade. He wants a 2. So now I'm going to take this 2 all the way up, and I'm going to go right underneath that number 3 guard. So I did a 4 first, then I did a 3, and then I jumped right down to a 2. So all them guards should be stacked right underneath each other. Now, if this client wanted a skin fade, I would jump right into my skin fade right when I'm done with this number 2 guard. But that's not the case here. My client want a number 2 straight on the side, not faded, just a straight number 2. So that's what I have to give him. He did want a taper in the back, so I'm about to give him a taper. I make my first initial bald guideline, going straight across with my sabers. This is my soft trimmer, which means it's not zero gap and it don't set a harsh line. Then I come in clipper open, going up about 1 inch, going over the guideline multiple times. Then I'm going to close my lever up, and I'm going to tap at this guideline. Once I see this line shift up, I'm going to open my lever up 1 notch, tap at the line again. Then I'm going to open it again another notch. Then I'm going to be halfway on my lever, and I should be at the very top of that guideline. The line should be faded out. Then I'm going to throw on my 1 guard close, and I'm going up again about 1 inch, making my next transition, going over the guideline multiple times. Then I throw on the half guard, and I am halfway on my lever, feathering out the line. Then I'm going to close my lever up all the way, go at the very bottom of the line, and go to the line and flick right out, and the line should come out for you. Then I'm going to throw on my 1.5 guard. I'm going to the line and I'm flicking right out. I would usually skip this step, but for video purpose, I just threw on the 1.5 guard. This guard is not going to take this line out. It's just softening it up for me. Then I throw on my 1 guard and I start halfway, and I'm just going to use the corner of the blade to take this line out. If it don't come out halfway, then I would just close my lever up all the way and still use the corners, and your line should come right out for you. And once I put that neckline on them, this taper is gonna pop. It's gonna be a taper. Then I pick up my cocos and I'm just gonna line up his neck area, fold down the ear, and trying to keep everything nice and natural and not trying to push nothing back. Then we're gonna line up his C-cup area, start right at the bottom of his vertical bar, go at the bottom of the C-cup, and draw in your C. When I am putting in any line, I like to go over the line at least twice. So my first pass through will be my rough draft, and the second time I run through it, that's when I really like to make it sharp and crispy. But also not trying to push nothing back. I like to keep everything natural as possible so it can grow back evenly for the client. So my client wanted me to give him a nice little trim on the beard, but he didn't want to knock off too much bulk. So I just grabbed my trimmer and just getting rid of all the flyaways for him, just to shape it up for him real nice. But I also want to shape it up to a way where it fits his face and give him that manly look. Next, we're going to use some 245 shave gel. Angle that razor at a 45-degree angle. Make sure you are always stretching the client's skin for way more tension, and make the straightest line you can ever imagine. And like I said before, I like to go over every line twice. So this is my second pass through, and this is where I really want to make this line pop. My client already expressed to me that he really cared about his beard, so I know I really got to lock in and make this beard super sharp and crispy for him. And when you are having your consultation with your client, they will tell you exactly what they want you to focus on. Now that the beard is lined up, I picked up a towel, something that's lighter, and what this does is I put it right on my client's shoulder and right underneath his beard, and this gives me way more contrast. So now I'm able to see all the hairs that's sticking out. I'm able to really shape it up. I'm able to really define his beard, face the client to the mirror, and show him that, you know, you're willing to take an extra 2 minutes in detailing out the beard just to make sure that you are satisfying his needs. Then I picked up my Josh OP Y2 styling comb, and I'm just going to style his hair up for him, you know, pop it up in the front the way he like it, comb everything to the side. And this is how he came in the shop looking like a caveman. And this is the after, the back taper, 2 on the sides. Beard is nice and shaped up for him. C-cups is nice and crispy. Just your basic gentleman's cut. And if you like any tools or products that I use in this video, don't forget to go to toon45.com. Use my discount code MOREFADES for your 10% off. And I'll see you guys on the next video. I'm out.